Amidst the Brandon Ayuk contract negotiation saga, it has came through that Trent Williams might be looking for a new contract extension as well. As we already know, Jawan Jennings and Christian McCaffrey have inked those contract extension with the San Francisco 49ers, while Brandon Ayuk continues his tumultuous negotiation. And we really don't know where that particular negotiation is heading at this current point. There's a lot of conflicting information about what the expectation is for Brandon Ayuk moving forward. But from the weekend, Jeremy Fowler has indicated that Trent Williams could be looking for a new contract as well. Man, I think everyone's looking for a new contract if you're on the San Francisco 49ers. And, obviously this has become one of the main topics today on Monday of June 10th is not only the Brandon Ayuk situation, but are we going to have to add the best left tackle in the NFL into that mix? We'll take a listen to what Jeremy Fowler had to say as he joined MBR to discuss in further detail. And I want to react to what he had to say on the other side.
Jeremy Fowler joining us here, talking 49ers here. And so you reported that Trent Williams, the veteran left tackle, even though he's getting paid a lot of money, still could be looking for a new deal. What's the news there you reported?
So, yeah, I just, look, it's something that multiple people have brought up to me as a possibility. Like, hey, there are whispers that he would like a new deal. I didn't, it wasn't more like a splash report or anything. It was, I heard it enough to mention it. I'll say that. But, it's not anything I've confirmed as hard and fast, but there are certainly whispers among people in the industry who think that he wants a new deal or will want a new deal. And it's in part because he's the highest, he's not the highest paid player at his position anymore, and he's clearly still the best, even though he's 35. So I think he's due $20 million this year, 22 next year. So, it's just low enough compared to where the market's going where he could need an adjustment. I just see it as something that will come to a head. I don't know what it means or how it will shake out, but they're going to probably have to take care of him one more time.
I guess the biggest question to end it with, Jeremy, is do the 49ers have too many players to pay? There's too many mouths to feed.
Yeah, it's a good problem to have. I mean, you're seeing it a little bit with Dallas right now, too. San Francisco, coming off of last year, I felt like, and it might still be the case, had the most star-powered roster in the entire league. I mean, if you look at position by position, top 10 players, they're loaded with them. And not just top 10, but in a lot of cases, the best, or the top 3 at least. And it's all over the field, so that's a testament to what they've done in the draft. And their free agency ads, and they're really well set up, but that comes with a lot of problems, especially it's sort of a race to Brock Purdy's extension, right? Mm-hmm. Assuming he plays really well again this year, and you're going to have to pay him. But right now you don't have to, and he's under that cheap rookie deal for at least another year. So, I mentioned as well, like George Kittle, he's got, I think, 2 years left on his deal. He's the only tight end that had a 1,000-yard receiving year last year. If he wasn't coming off his core muscle surgery, I bet he'd be knocking on the door for a deal. Like, why wouldn't he? It's just there's money to be had right now that might not be available a year or two from now because of the quarterback contract.
All these contracts and no Super Bowl titles, Jeremy. That's the problem.
Yeah, but I can't think of many teams that are better positioned to do it right now. It's just some of these players we're talking about are getting older, too, so I don't know how long they can keep it together, but still, pound for pound, one of the best, if not the best roster in the NFL.
So I think there's some important distinctions here when it comes to this whisper about Trent Williams wanting a new contract. Let's talk about the thought process in of itself of Trent wanting a new deal. He is not the highest paid left tackle anymore in the NFL. Now, when the San Francisco 49ers signed him to the big-time contract extension in 2021, it made him the highest paid offensive lineman ever in the history of football. Well, now, obviously, as time has progressed, other left tackles have jumped him for that honor. And as we know, that's just how it works. The market is typically jumped by the next best up and coming. Even if they aren't the best, the market is going to drive the price up. So as we've seen, the left tackle market has taken a hit in regards to increasing the value. And so you have Trent Williams, who is highly regarded by every single person in the NFL as the best left tackle in football. Now, with that being said, does he get a little bit of a raise, a little bit of a bump, kind of like we've seen with Christian McCaffrey? And because with Christian, he had 2 years left on his deal. I believe, as Jeremy Fowler explained, it sounds like there's 2 years left on Trent Williams' deal. Is there an incentive to pay him and make sure that he's taken care of moving forward? I'll say this: if that means that you're guaranteeing that Trent Williams does not retire within the next 2 seasons, and you can give him a pay raise, which he is deserving of, and get that done where it's also not hampering you from making any additional moves in the future, then to me, it's a pretty much a no-brainer. You pay Trent Williams if that's what the market dictates, and based on the details of his contract, it also dictates that as well. Like, to me, then that's a no-brainer. So we'll have to see how this thing ultimately works out, because this was the same question that we had throughout the Brandon Ayuk negotiation situation, where I had mentioned multiple times, I was like, okay, yeah, we got to pay Brandon Ayuk, but what about Christian McCaffrey? What about his contract that will be coming down the line? And the 49ers adjusted it sooner rather than later. So now the same thing applies to Trent Williams. Is will that be something that now the 49ers have to basically, figure out? Because the 49ers, and they posed the question at the end, was like, do the 49ers just have too many good players? And at a certain point, yes, they have too many good players, and the cap isn't going up fast enough. But the hope is that over the next, continuing decades and each individual year, the cap is going to rise, and so will the 49ers' ability to maintain, pay, and keep this roster together for the foreseeable future. Obviously, it was discussed, the big target point for next season and beyond for the 49ers is paying Brock Purdy. And so there's a list of players who either need raises, need extensions, etc. And it's going to be fascinating to see how the 49ers ultimately get all this done in the end. But let me know what you guys thought about this whole situation with Trent Williams. Again, he says this isn't a factual report, so he's hearing it. He's hearing it. That's why it's being discussed as a whisper, is because I don't feel like this is necessarily a factual report. Kind of like what he said, he's just heard it enough times that it's like, all right, well, I'll say something about it. So again, as we've gone through all of this isn't a confirmed report that Trent Williams wants a new deal. It's a whisper. It's something that potentially is being discussed, whether through people just looking at the landscape, looking at Trent's deal, thinking like, oh yeah, he could be up for a raise. So we'll see. Again, this isn't a report. It's just more so, this is what I'm hearing around the NFL grapevine. So we'll see how it continues to progress. But you guys let me know what you guys think about this whole situation in the comments below. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.